Today, Canadian innocence ended, and I wasn't planning to make a vlog today. Um, in fact, today's vlog actually does not come in good news. It actually comes in some pretty bad news. Today, October 22nd, 2014, at this current time that I'm recording, I'm going to be doing multiple clips today, so don't worry about it. But at right now at 7:20 p.m. On October 22nd, 2014, what we know so far is that Michael Zihaf Babo, or who is suspected to actually be a recent Islam convert, shot and killed Corporal Nathan Cirillo, I believe. I kind of forgot. I hope I'm saying it right. Rest in peace. He was a 24-year-old Canadian Armed Force reservist. He was guarding the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which is a memorial / tomb where a soldier who died in World War One, who is completely unidentified. They have no idea who it is there. Or I believe they're buried there. And pretty famous memorial there in Canada, at least. And basically, from what we know so far, Michael Zihaf Babo, also like I said, suspected Islam convert. That's what some sources are saying right now. Some sources are also saying that he also used to go by the name Abdul Zihaf Babo, although he was born Michael Hull Babo, which, it's kind of scary. The pieces are kind of falling together here. That I know I don't want to sound like a racist here or anything. I'm not saying Islam is, a bad religion. If anything, Islam is a religion of peace. But, it's starting to seem like that, it may have been an Islamic terrorist, and more specifically, ISIS. And I don't, I don't want to speculate as we're talking. Nothing's confirmed. I mean, it was barely confirmed not that long ago that who the shooter even was in the first place. So information's still, coming out bang, bang, bang as I currently record this clip. It's a really sad day here in Canada. Really unfortunate. Our innocence has ended. Us Canadians, we were once proud of how open and free our parliament buildings were to the public. You could walk up to the front door of the Parliament building on Parliament Hill in our capital, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and without going through security checks. As with the White House after 9/11, you can't even be on the front lawn of the White House. So it's a very sad day, and most likely after today, you won't be able to, at least for a while, you won't be able to get into Parliament Hill, at least without a security check first, for the next little while. Like I said, I wasn't planning on making this vlog today. I didn't, of course, I wasn't planning, or I didn't know that this was going to happen today, this huge event. I think I'm going to include a clip that keeps playing over and over on the news. I'm currently watching a live CBC broadcast there, And that you could just see there for a second, unless the camera was doing something weird. That clip there. I'm going to be showing that clip here in a second, or somewhere throughout the vlog. I'm going to try, because that is the moment where the security of Parliament Hill shot and killed Michael Zehafabo. So basically, after he shot the soldier, he moved on to Parliament Hill, which is just down the street from the memorial, and walked right up to the front door with a rifle, went in, and literally feet from a meeting of members of Parliament, he was shot and killed in a gunfight with the security and RCMP, and it's just crazy to think that something like this could happen in Canada. You know, we were so proud of how non-violent us Canadians were. You know, we were so proud of how, we're so non-violent that you can even, all the public can just walk into our Parliament, or where the whole area of where our country is run from. And now, because of one person, all that ends. And actually, as I'm speaking, about maybe 10 minutes ago, the lockdown in downtown Ottawa was reinstated. No confirms yet there's a second person, although that's kind of making people a little suspicious why the lockdown's reinstated hours after the gunman was killed. But yeah, at 7:45 p.m., it's currently 7:27. Prime Minister Stephen Harper is going to be addressing the nation about what happened today in our capital. And, things are going to be changing. Lots of new information is still going to be coming out. And I'm going to try to cover that the best I can for you guys here in today's vlog. I'm sure that information will be coming out in the days to come as well, so we might very well see daily vlogs coming out up until the Toronto trip there. Speaking of the Toronto trip, it's still on. It's not like there was anything to be concerned about. Toronto's not Ottawa, it's a different city. But obviously, it being the largest city in Canada, it's obviously a security threat. Although the chief of police of Toronto, he addressed the people today, I guess, and reassured us that the Toronto police are going to be stepping up security. There's going to be a large police presence in Toronto for the next few weeks. And I assume I'm the Toronto vlog on Monday. As we're walking through the streets of Toronto, we're probably going to see a lot of police officers, and it's not something, we're particularly proud of, but it's a necessary and a very smart move. When your nation's capital gets attacked, you definitely want to protect your largest city, because it's possibly the next target. You never know. I'm not concerned about Monday. There's a little bit of concern that maybe they'll try something on Toronto, but with heightened security in Toronto, heightened police presence, something like this is not going to happen. If someone tries, they're going to be stopped real quick. So like I said, there's going to be a lot more information coming out tonight and in the next few days. If a lot of information does come out in a day, I'll make a vlog on it as per usual. This clip itself is already 10 minutes, but I am going to be back, when Stephen Harper is addressing the nation.
Fellow Canadians, we've also been reminded today of the compassionate and courageous nature of so many Canadians, like those private citizens and first responders who came to provide aid to Corporal Cirillo as he fought for his life. And of course, the members of our security forces in the RCMP, the City of Ottawa Police, and in Parliament, who came quickly and at great risk to themselves to assist those of us who were close to the attack. Fellow Canadians, in the days to come, we will learn more about the terrorist and any accomplices he may have had. But this week's events are a grim reminder that Canada is not immune to the types of terrorist attacks we have seen elsewhere around the world. We are also reminded that attacks on our security personnel and on our institutions of governance are, by their very nature, attacks on our country, on our values, on our society, on us Canadians, as a free and democratic people who embrace human dignity for all. But let there be no misunderstanding. We will not be intimidated. Canada will never be intimidated. In fact, this will lead us to strengthen our resolve and redouble our efforts, and those of our national security agencies, to take all necessary steps to identify and counter threats and keep Canada safe here at home. Just as it will lead us to strengthen our resolve and redouble our efforts to work with our allies around the world and fight against the terrorist organizations who brutalize those in other countries with the hope of bringing their savagery to our shores. They will have no safe haven. Well, today has been, without question, a difficult day. I have every confidence that Canadians will pull together with the kind of firm solidarity that has seen our country through many challenges. Together, we will remain vigilant against those at home or abroad who wish to harm us. For now, Lorraine and Ben and Rachel and I join all Canadians in praying for those touched by today's attack. May God bless them and keep our land glorious and free. Mes chers compatriotes, une attaque brutale.
I side with my colleagues, with our Prime Minister, and with all Canadians. This attack struck with sudden and deadly violence. It was carried out on the very ground where we come together to exchange ideas with the knowledge that whatever our differences, we will always resolve them peacefully. It was intended to make us more fearful of our neighbors and less confident in ourselves, but it has failed. Today's events have instead only succeeded in drawing us closer, in making us stronger. And to the brave women and men of law enforcement, our security services, and our Canadian forces, I want to say that your determination, your professionalism, and indeed your heroism today will not soon be forgotten. Just as we have all borne witness to these horrific acts, we have watched in awe your acts of courage, now an abiding emblem of Canadian strength, values, and valor. The thoughts and prayers of everyone here in our nation's capital are with the family and loved ones of Corporal Nathan Cirillo, the Canadian Forces member from Hamilton, Ontario, who lost his life this morning, the second in just a few days. Corporal Cirillo was literally standing on guard at a monument dedicated to the sacrifice of others who came before him. To his family and friends, I tell you that 35 million Canadians at home and abroad, from coast to coast to coast and around the world, stand with you tonight, and we will not forget. In this moment, Canadians are unified in grief and stricken with disbelief. Canada is shaken today, but we shall not waver. We woke up this morning in a country blessed by love, diversity, and peace, and tomorrow we will do the same. These acts were driven by hatred, but also designed to drive us to hate. They will not. We will stand up, and we will stand together. We will persevere, and we will prevail. Good evening.
All right, Tom Mulcair, the leader of the NDP.
So unfortunately, I didn't get the photo, or I didn't get the video of Harper myself. As you probably just saw, if I remember to, it was somebody else on YouTube who recorded it, so I used that footage because I forgot to. I also got some footage of Thomas Mulcair, the official opposition leader of the NDP, New Democratic Party of Canada, and his speech. I obviously didn't show the full videos because it would make this vlog way too long, but just some summaries and stuff. But today has really changed Canada, and I know I probably sound like, like it's such a big deal, but the thing is, it is a big deal. Here in Canada, we don't have terrorist attacks. We've never had a prime minister assassinated. As far as I know, we haven't had someone die within the parliament buildings. Ow, ugh. And, it's new to us. We kind of lost our innocence today. October 22nd, 2014 is the day Canada lost its innocence, and after the Prime Minister addressed the nation, it was very, very clear to us that the government believes that ISIS is in some way affiliated with these terrorist attacks. And I say attacks because on Monday, October 20th, a Canadian soldier was run down by someone who actually was an ISIS supporter. He converted to Islam, and he was in support of ISIS, and doing so, he ran over a Canadian soldier in Quebec. And now, today, they don't have any confirmation about whether he's an ISIS supporter, but they do know that he converted to Islam, and they strongly believe that he did this in the name of ISIS. And it's really sad because it means that Canada is no longer it's no longer this different nation in the world where, it's no longer where we are, innocent. I mean, we're not innocent. I don't know how to explain this, but, we're seen as peaceful people who have little violence even within our borders, and this kind of changed that for the first time ever. Really, Canada has made international headlines as a terrorist attack victim, and it's new to us. Like I said, we lost our innocence, and now because of this, I mean, I'm pretty goddamn sure that this means that there's going to be a large military response. Just like how after America was attacked with the 9/11 terrorist attacks, they went to war. And I know I'm not trying to compare, today's attacks with 9/11. 9/11 was obviously 3,000 times worse, with, 3,000 more deaths. but um, you know, Canada is not going to stand for this, and like I probably summarized there with Harper's address, he said that Canada will not be intimidated. Canada will not be weakened. And, he never directly says anything about this being ISIS, but he does call these terrorist attacks, and that the people responsible find no safe haven, just like Obama did. So it's pretty evident he's talking about ISIS. And what I believe he means by that we won't be weakened and we won't be intimidated and that we'll be a stronger nation together is that we're gonna build ourselves from this. We're not gonna be like, oh, don't hurt us again. No, we're gonna stand up to the people responsible, and we're going to bring them to justice. We're going to make sure that another terrorist attack does not happen again within our borders. And I've said this. I don't think I said this on my vlog, but I've said this, to people I know. Canada, at least, the capital of Canada is changed forever. Before, you could walk straight up to the door. I know I've said this in the vlog. You can walk straight up to the door of Parliament Hill, and without a security check. Now it's very possible for the next week or so, at least, you won't be able to even walk onto the property of Parliament Hill if you're just a civilian. It's going to create a huge divide between the public and the Parliament now. And it's not something we want to do, but it's something that has to happen. The fact that this terrorist, I have no problem in calling him a terrorist, he was able to shoot a soldier who was guarding a memorial, and walk away to a car, get in the car, and drive the car to... I'm not really 100% sure about what happened in between there. I know that he had a car, he got into a car, and then he drove a car up to the door of Parliament Hill. But I don't, are they the same car? I'm not too sure. From what the videos or the news coverage I was seeing, the car that he drove in on was a lot different than the one he got in on after he left the crime scene of shooting the soldier, because there's actually of someone driving by the car as he was getting in. They had a dash cam on, so you could see him getting in a car. It's definitely a different car, unless that car I was seeing in the video was completely unrelated. But regardless, he got in a car, and somewhere along the point, I don't know the middle details, but then later on, I mean, he was just down the street, so it wasn't that long. He drove a car straight into the Parliament Hill, got out, walked casually in the front door of the Parliament building, and there was actually twice that gunfire was exchanged. The first time, I have no idea what happened. I mean, the video that I showed earlier on in this vlog was actually the second time, and that's when he was shot and killed by RCMP and, Parliament guards. Oh, I'm tired and shaken. But there's a very, very common theme across Canada tonight. We are angry. I'm sure there's a lot of people my age who could give less craps about what's going on right now in Ottawa, but a lot of Canadians are pissed, and I'm pissed. Like I said, this changes everything, and I feel that we need to take appropriate action if truly is ISIS's responsibility or actions, then I truly firmly believe that we need to take action against them. I mean, I already believe that we need to take action against them before today, but if it truly is, then I feel like this will solidify what the future of the combat mission in Iraq and Syria right now. If it truly is ISIS, it's a guarantee that at least the Canadian forces will have combat troops on the ground. And